Hello, you're watching the Crypto Roundup on Proactive. Billy Farrington joins me with all the latest developments in the market. Billy, what have been the big market drivers for Bitcoin this week?
Yeah, hi Stephen. Always a pleasure. Yeah, there have been quite a few big drivers for the Bitcoin markets this week. First and foremost, we have this Mt. Gox repayment schedule underway. You may have recalled we've talked about this a little bit in the past. Mt. Gox being a cryptocurrency exchange that collapsed about 10 years ago in 2014, if memory serves me right. So sort of the proto FTX, if you will. Well, when that collapsed, about $8 billion worth of customer funds kind of went missing with it. And it's taken a long time, but just now, just this month, these creditors are finally seeing this money come back into their accounts. I mean, it's taken 10 years for this $8 billion to be released from the bankruptcy estate, but it's finally happening, which is obviously fantastic news for these creditors. But it has come with a few anxieties as well, given this is $8 billion worth of Bitcoin that potentially could be, sold off, redeemed for fiat. And if that was to occur, then obviously that would cause a bit of selling pressure and a bit of downward pricing pressure on Bitcoin. So that has been sort of front and center of the market's mind this week, this month, in all fairness. I guess the other big story, obviously, is we've got the Bitcoin 2024 conference underway today. There's a little guest, what's his name? Oh, Donald Trump. Yeah, he's going to be addressing it apparently. I hope the security has ramped up. I don't know if he's going to address it in person. I get the feeling it's going to be sort of over a video call. It makes more sense, right? You're going to risk yourself to address the Bitcoin conference 2024. It's Trump, so who knows with that guy, and who knows what he's going to say as well. But he's like the keynote speaker at this Bitcoin 2024 conference. Kind of like huge news, really, isn't it? Somebody of that stature and obviously that level of controversy addressing the biggest Bitcoin conference of the year. Depending on what he says, and perhaps he's even going to suggest there might be some, you might even like lay out some policy ideas for the crypto industry, kind of depending on what he says. That is inevitably going to be a driver of the Bitcoin market. So that's going to come in the next couple of hours from the time we speak. I think he's going to talk at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So those have been the big sort of stories emerging from the Bitcoin markets this week, Stephen.
And how have spot prices reacted to these drivers, Billy?
Yeah, pretty well, to be honest. Look at the chart now. We're looking at Bitcoin at around $67,200. That's about 5% up week on week, and at about 8.8% up month on month. So all in all, a bullish week, bullish month so far for Bitcoin.
What's about the launch of Ethereum ETFs, Billy? Success or flop?
Mm. Well, I guess it depends on your definition of success. So Ethereum ETFs got the go-ahead by the US regulators this week. They went live on Tuesday. Pretty big occasion, really, for Ethereum. Ethereum being the second largest cryptocurrency on the market. So yeah, the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission, gave the go-ahead after years of lobbying from the ETF providers. It's finally they're finally live on the traditional stock exchanges, giving traditional investors access to Ethereum for the first time ever. Looking at preliminary data from Bloomberg, volumes exceeded $1 billion on the first day of trading. Now that's less than a quarter of the first day volumes when Bitcoin ETFs were launched in January. Less than a quarter. Doesn't sound great, but let's not forget Ethereum is a substantially smaller cryptocurrency than Bitcoin. $1 billion of trading volumes first day to me sounds all right. But I think when you look at the actual net flows, it's a bit of a more of a negative story. I think total net flows as of the latest read is negative $150 million. So that means there'll be more outflows than inflows. And the majority of these outflows are coming from the Grayscale ETF, Ether ETF fund, similarly as what happened with Bitcoin. And so, yeah, we are looking at negative flows from the Ethereum ETF space right now. So not really great news, really. I guess it's a mixed, mixed success right now. Time will tell if these becomes like the Bitcoin ETFs. That was a wild success. Time will tell if Ethereum can kind of match that success. Right now, it's looking a little bit iffy, and that has been reflected on Ethereum spot prices. They are down 5.4% week on week and 4.5% month on month. The ETH dollar pair is currently trading at about $3,400. So mixed news coming out of the Ethereum space.
Well, Billy, it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that crypto conference and what Donald Trump has to say. That's the story for next week. Thanks very much for joining us again.
Cool. All the best.
That's Proactive's Billy Farrington.